How's it going? My name is Brad Pont. I am the owner of 805 Gutters. A lot of you guys actually have been posting videos online of your outsides and inside miters, and a lot of them are pretty good, but I wanted to show you some of the ways that I was taught as well as some of the ways I perfected it. It's not the fastest, but it's clean. It's clean every single time, and it's a pretty straight line on the inside and outside. So first things first, what you guys want to do is you want to get a compound miter saw, any type of Makita, Milwaukee, doesn't really matter. Just get a compound miter saw that is a true zero, and you want to make yourself either a couple patterns or just one pattern for a 6-inch, 5-inch, 7-inch, whatever the case may be. When you actually cut your pattern, it's going to look like this. It's basically two outsides. You can do one with two insides as well. But once you actually make this piece right here, you want to cut the top lip off right here. You want to pull it out a little bit just so I can sit on the outside of the gutter. I cut all my miters on the outside, not on the inside. Some people are different. Then you're going to flatten this out right here. You're going to get the square. You're going to follow that line. You're going to probably cut in about a 1/2 inch on this right here, just so you're able to, when you trace it, to go past the actual back of the gutter itself. Your pattern will end up looking like this. And this is a true 45 on both sides. When you do your outside and inside miters, you also want to have your flats, my ghetto flats. You want to have reds. You want to have your greens, really, really important. Your square, and the one thing that a lot of people don't actually use, they use bit pencils. I stick to mechanical. It's a really, really fine, very fine line. You want to keep it fine. You don't want to be able to get a thick line at all. So that's what I use. So take a look at my videos, learn something from it. I wasn't going as fast as I possibly can. I just wanted to be instructional. And within the videos, there's 7 of them. There technically could be 8, but one of them you don't really need. You have the outside left tabbed, outside left smooth, outside right tabbed, outside right smooth, inside left tabbed, inside left smooth, inside right tabbed, inside right smooth. There's 8 different ways that are very similar to one another to actually cut the miters, but I want you guys to see how I cut it just so you guys can actually get a good grasp on a really clean miter. Thank you. All right, so this is going to be a right outside tab. So we need to get our measurement right here on there. Right, so what you want to do is always have a pencil handy. Our measurement is 8 foot 8 1/8. We are going to mark it just there. All right. So as I said before, grab your square, your pattern. All right. Since it's tabbed, right? I always like using the square for the base as well as the back, right? And then you're gonna do 1 inch. Normally you can eyeball that. All right. Oop. Coming this way. Coming this way. Use your pattern on it and push down on your pattern, so it's nice and tight. All right. And this is why I use a mechanical pencil, because it is tight, real tight. All right. This one right here, as I always do, I use my reds. I'm gonna cut the tab off, or not the tab, but cut right here. And I'll come up, and I'll go immediately in because this is hard to actually get around because of this tab right here. So I'll actually cut right here, lift that, and then just work my way. And I'll cut straight through this because, again, this line right here we don't have to worry about because these are all going to be tabs. So cut straight through, pull that up. Through. Bottom snip right here to allow the fold to be nice. All right, and again, I always start with the 45 or the 90 rather, and just shy of it. Imaginary line right there, so we're gonna have to put 2 tabs between here and there. So one there, yep. And then right there on that line. Again, if you need to get closer to that line and you don't want to cut through, wiggle it as you're cutting. It'll actually cut it fine. Another line over here. Let's put another tab here. Right on the line. And then one tab here. And this guy right here. So this is going to be a little bit extra, it'll pop out. So I'll just trim that guy right there. Alright. And like I said, I don't do a full 90. I'll come in at an angle. It'll actually hide everything and make everything easier. And my last one, you'll see that all the tabs are underneath because there's a left outside. This is right outside, so all the tabs are actually up top. All right, so wiggle those out. I got a few of these little nipples on the inside, and I like to get rid of those. So you can cut it to the line. It'll actually make it cleaner, much smoother look. Good. And this guy's good. All right. Again, save your coworkers, your employees. All right, one at a time from the bottom up. Always bottom up. Hammer it to the line. Next 2. And the reason why I do 2 at a time is because some like to overlap, some like to underlap. So you could probably use a hammer for this, a small one if you need to. This guy right here. Last one, flat. I pull this way a little bit, like I said, and I twist it towards it so I don't give it a nipple on the actual back or the bottom. And this one is the same, towards it. And that'll figure itself out. Flats. I don't go directly on the line with the flats. A little bit before. There you go. And basically that look right there, that is the outside tabbed miter. All right, so this is a outside left smooth. Obviously, I got the reds. I'm gonna start from the left and work my way. I'm doing it on a small piece because that's what I have right now. So I always cut right here and then fold this over, right? And once I start cutting this right here, it's gonna get really tight. So then I cut across right here, fold it over that way, and then I'm gonna work my way, and I'm peeling it away as I'm cutting. You can, if it's a long piece like this, you're gonna probably want to cut in the middle and then fold it over and then keep working your way, right? So what I like to do on this one is I cut all the way through. All right, once you cut all the way through, you do one small snip here, one small snip here, right? And you're gonna come in low, and you're gonna go as high as you can until you start getting a little friction, and that's when I bring out the grain. When I cut my miter, I never do it straight to the edge because the edge is always jagged, so I come in about 1/8 of an inch. All right, so now you got your greens, and I come and I do not a exact straight angle, like a 90-degree angle. I actually have a little bit of arch to it. It actually looks cleaner when you put it all together, right? So now you got my greens, and I'm coming in and I meet right there. And then it comes to the bottom one, curve around. All right, and then top guy right here, you pinch off. That is an outside left smooth. All right, so this is a inside left tabbed. As always, I like to come in a little bit. Just, you know, keep consistent. Okay. So the inside miters, you don't really have to worry too much about how pretty they look or any of that. Obviously, because they are going to be tabs, and tabs are going to be hidden. All right, first things first, as always, what I like to do is I like to cut this angle and don't make it exact 90. I'm going to come in a little bit more. That can give you trouble when you're setting it up. All right, cut the back just a little bit, 1/4 of an inch maybe. All right, and from here, remember how I said when you're cutting this piece right here, the bottom lip, you want to go ahead and roll this. You want to roll your reds so it doesn't create a nipple. It'll create a nipple right inside there, right? This is how I do it. Everyone's different, right? I actually pull my my bits off often while I'm actually cutting. There's no reason to, I just tend to do it sometimes. They get in the way. And then that line I was telling you about, you'll see the line in the shade. It's like one side shadier than the other. And then this guy you want to roll as well, so you're not creating that nipple. There will be a nipple and it's a pain in the butt. You will see it. It is not good. Alright, I will use my greens on this one to get that piece. Reds are really hard to get it. Alright, so there you have that. Now, when it comes to inside miters, you don't actually have to worry too much about hammering them or folding them or anything like that inward. The only one you have to really worry about that is on slant face, because once you actually bend it into the actual into the female piece, you'll actually have a little warp. But on this one, you don't have to worry about it so much because they're all individual tabs. But yeah, so that's basically it. This is a left inside tabbed miter, and that's it. And of course, naturally, I forgot to fold the back in. And love tap, there you go. All right, all done. All right, so this is a right inside smooth, okay? So if you need to, just draw the line there, just so you don't mess up or anything like that, because you need that as a tab. All right, so you're gonna be using greens and reds for this one. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my reds. I'm gonna hit that tip right here, cut it twice, roll it up, get it out of the way, and I'm just gonna cut while I'm pulling. Normally, if you don't have a lot of extra gutter left over, you can do this. Bend it away, right? And then I will cut here. Don't go all the way through. Fold this tab. Cut a few times. If you get stuck, cut inward. Fold that tab. Continue cutting. why you're not forcing it. All right, roll it up. And then you could do this probably with the big snips if you need to, like the back piece, but just wanted to show you. All right, now you get your greens, and you come from the middle where you started, and you cut that. All right, should have done this first, but yeah, cut your angle right there. So to get into this way, from the top or the bottom, why not just fold this bitch over, right? Then come back in with your greens, turn the corner, come take it off. There you go. And then you're gonna take your flats, and some people just smush it like that. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to bend it down a little bit and then bring it back up. That way the actual other piece can sit on this. Oh, sorry, this is actually, this is supposed to be up. I'll show you that on the other video. Make any necessary trimmings that you have to. If you see any line, you have to cut that piece off. So there you are. And if you need to, you can smooth it out. That is a right inside smooth. All right, so this is a left inside smooth. I always take a little bit off because of nicks like that, possibly, whatever the case may be, but yeah. Through. He's giving me, tension. Do that cut, fold it back right there. Don't cut all the way through. And this is what I do. Not everybody's exact same, but this is what I do, right? Makes my life easier. And then I come in right here. All right. And this guy, which was the opposite, we're gonna use greens up here. Yep. Piece away. Cut 3/4 of the way through. Don't cut all the way. Fold that bitch over like we did on the other one. Trim it. You might have to trim it using greens and reds because I like to get rid of that line or just be right on it. It makes difference, trust me. All right, coming back the opposite way with the greens. Small little cuts. And then this little freaking piece right here, you can normally break it off like so. Trim it up there. Come back over here. And then trim anything that needs to be trimmed. Get straighter. There you go. Actually, how we do this guy? That is your left inside smooth. All right, so this is the outside left tab miter. All right, you can do the first guy right here. Doesn't matter. I'm pulling as I cut upward, right? Before I actually get in there, freaking, I just do that. I do that with every single one, just because it's easier to cut. Having to try rounding it, right? And I'll actually pull it out a little bit like that. And I just cut through. Through, cut that. Oop. Cut. All right, first things first, as always, like I do it, not an exact 90, just little bit outside. All right. Again, you gotta remember that there's an invisible line. This, from my point of view, this side is shaded, this side is color, or light rather. Right on the line. Wiggle it if you need to go a little bit farther. The point is you want to cut directly on to the line, not before it, not past it. Past it, your the curve is going to be a little off. And I'll come right here at a little bit of an angle. Tab up, chop that guy up right here, chop that guy off, they're all facing downward, pull them out from down below. This guy should be all right. And again, you want to save your employees' fingers, chop off the sharp pieces. All right, 2 tabs at a time. It's a lot harder hitting the small pieces. This one's only 3 feet. It's a lot harder hitting the small ones because they tend to want to bounce. Especially straight to the line. Yeah, don't forget to tie your shoes, gents, ladies as well. All right, pull this out a little bit, and then I roll to the left. This one I roll to the right. Get right on that line. And I take my flats that I'm sitting on. This one looks like you need to cut a little bit more. If you pulled it off and there's still a lot there, like you can see right here, just recut. Recut. Grab that knife of yours. Pull that little guy out right there. Now it's right on the line. That right there is not 90. You can see a curve. It is what it is. And that is a left outside tab. All right, so this is a outside right smooth, okay? Again, starting with the left side because I've got the reds, okay? I come in and at an angle, not a perfect 90, right? And I come in 1/8 of an inch because this side's a lot more jagged. All right, so I'm gonna work my way around this way. I'm literally doing this right here so I can actually get into it a lot easier, right? I always break these off if I can. So I'm gonna come in the middle right here until we get to right there, right? And then from here, I'm actually going to cut at an angle. So it's you're following the line right here, right? I'm going to trim to right there. And I'm going to continue cutting. All right. Cut until you get friction or it becomes more difficult. Fold it over. Get to the end. You can use greens or reds for this. I'll use greens just for, you know, just so you guys have it. Hold that bitch over. Toss that away, clean it up a little bit if you need to. All right, so now right here, you're going to use greens. Just follow that line. All right, keep using those greens. Follow that line all the way up. This is where I should have continued with the reds, but it doesn't matter as long as you come back to it. Right there, and then you, as always, clean it up a little bit. You don't want any sharp edges or anything like that. And pinch it off. There you go. You got your outside right smooth.